All right, everybody, welcome to Bad Wrench Live. This is our Saturday show that we normally do every last Saturday of the month, where we usually start out with announcements. So let's get into the announcements. Guys, we were doing really good on subscribers here on YouTube. So if you guys are not subscribed to us on YouTube, please hit that subscribe button so that we can get more growth on this channel. Also, I wanted to mention the merch, guys. The merch store is live. So make sure that when you get a chance at the end of the show, scroll down, you'll see our page, our fourth wall page that has all of our merch on it. Some of our merch has been redesigned and we've offered a few more colors. So there's a lot more stuff to check out there. Today, you guys are going to be seeing me wear local merch that I will offer at local shows when we start doing those, which may be next year, but this is for the local show stuff only. Also, guys, the some of the challenges that we're facing on the social medias is coming from how we're structuring some of our shows. So we are going to be looking at the overall layout of those and seeing where we can plug in special shows to bring you guys different content. Producer and I are talking about it behind the scenes. We always communicate whether or not something should be a live stream or if it should be just a normal show topic. But that being said, guys, that is the announcements. Thank you guys so much for all the support, the likes, the subscribes, Facebook people following. It really does help us grow this channel. Let's go ahead and get into today's topic. Today's topic is we are going to change the look of this car. I don't like the way this stock look is. I don't think it fits the overall look of the car. They went with more of a Euro blacked out headlight design on this car from factory. So these taillights do kind of blend in and they don't look very good. We're also going to be doing an LED upgrade on these. Also, for today's show, we're going to be doing removal of factory badging, and we're going to rebadge this so that it actually matches the overall theme. And you guys will get that feel of it once we start this project. First, I want to cover the wire harness because this will give you some frustration. This wire harness is not exactly meant to be a plug and play. There is something on the stock harness and it's different from what we get from the headlight design. And I will show you guys that when we get to it. But this is a problem that you will have to face if you're doing that on this car. Anytime you go with aftermarket lights, this becomes a problem because a lot of times they're mass produced and sometimes the harnesses are mass produced for different vehicles, meaning that you may need to cut or trim part of this harness to make it work. I'll show you that when we get to it. Here is the old light that I have removed. Looks like we got a comment coming in.
Bacon Craft YT says hi.
All right, good to have you here on this Saturday, and this is our live stream. Good to have you here. So, yep, here is the stock taillight. This is off of the other side. So the other side is already done, and I do that so that I know exactly what tools to show you guys, and I'm not having to hunt around my toolbox for everything. These are going to be the LED bulbs. I'm just going to show you them for now because we are going to install these in. And this is not only the brake, which is this one, this is also the reverse light. We don't do the turn signal. Pro tip here, guys, don't put LEDs in your turn signals because if you put them in your turn signal, at least on GM, it gives you a fast flash because it thinks that the bulb is burned out. LEDs don't carry the load that an incandescent bulb does. So we are going to be putting a new turn signal incandescent bulb in this car, but we are not going to be doing that one as an LED just because we don't want to have to deal with that fast flash. There is a way around it. You can add a resistor, but that means cutting into your harness and adding that resistor. And if the resistor isn't grounded properly, it's just a wiring nightmare and not worth dealing with. All right, so let's start with the first piece, which is to get this stock one out of here and out of the way. We're going to start by removing the screws that hold this into place before I jump in here and remove 2 plastic pop clips. I'm going to show you the tool that you need to get this taillight out and to remove these pop clips. And when I remove them, I'll show you what they look like. These plastic pop clips are inside the trunk, so you do have to get in here and pull these clips out of the way. So here is the first one. It is a very long plastic clip.
There's black on your shirts. Yeah.
So this is one of the clips. This one is the long one, and then you have a short one that's down below here. If you got stuff in the trunk when you're trying to do this process, it can be a little distracting, sometimes a little bit too hard to do, but here is the other plastic pop clip. So you have the shorter one and the longer one, and then you can pull the fabric piece down and you can access the harness for the tail light. I usually like to start by disconnecting the harness before I start pulling the headlight out, just so I don't wreck the factory harness. All right, stock one is out, and it's a good thing we are doing it because the cushion is torn. So next, this is the plastic tool that I said you have to have. You can't do this job without this tool. So make sure that if you're going to do any interior work, whether it be door panels, taillights, headlights, it doesn't matter, use plastic tools. The reason why is you don't want to scratch the paint. It's annoying to have to touch up paint. So how I will show you guys how to do this is you're going to kick this headlight out, and this one fell out. So we got lucky I didn't have to. The other side didn't work like that. The other side was a lot more problematic. So the other side held in the the other side held in tight on the bottom. So I had to come in from the top, and rather than pushing up against the paint, I pulled down on the headlight to get it to pop loose. So rather than going in here and pushing up against the paint, I pried it down to pop it loose. That protected that edge from me chipping it off. So now that I've got my wire harness disconnected and I got the headlight popped loose, I'm going to feed the main wire harness out of here. So this is the stock taillight, guys. Stock taillight, stock configuration. We will look at the aftermarket here in just a bit. Here is the stock one. When it comes to this, some people like to take this harness and use this harness. You can't do that with the new headlights. It doesn't work. This harness doesn't plug in to the bulbs. So when you put the bulbs in, it doesn't actually work because the bulbs won't go in. The reason why is they redesigned their taillight to reuse or to use their harness and not reuse your old harness. I'm just going to set the old one out of the way because I will probably take the bulbs out of that and save the bulbs since I'm not using them. But for now, I'm going to just set this stuff over here. Anytime I do a headlight project, guys, what I usually do is I will take all the old bulbs out that were good, and I'll save them. Because you never know if you get somebody in that needs a bulb or something for a turn signal or whatever the case might be, and you have one, even if it's a used one. Sometimes if you have it, you can get the vehicle back on the road so that the lights work like they're supposed to. So what I'm doing is just kind of wiping some of this dust out. I'm not going to get super carried away here about polishing inside here. I just want to get a layer of this dust off of there just in case it is visible. And if I want, give you guys a little bit of a pro tip here. Glass cleaner works really good for cleaning up this dirt. So just a little bit of glass cleaner in here and it'll wipe up 90% of this dirt that you would see that might be hidden.
Still got to set up that Amazon thing.
That's one of the many things on the list that we need to do, and that one is starting to become one of the big high priorities, is basically getting the Amazon list set up so that you guys can buy stuff that we buy and that we use directly in our Amazon link tree, which would be down below. Right now, Fourth Wall is down there for our merch. Guys, go check that out after the show. We got plenty of stuff there: shirts, hats, hoodies, drink cups, you name it. I don't have my drink cup here today, but yeah, I should have had that one.
Basically, after, like, if you exit the chat at some point and go there to hit the like button if you love the show, subscribe if you haven't already. There's also a tab that says shopping, and that's where you can get the merch. Oh, I missed it. We have a question.
All right, what do we got?
Bacon Craft YT says, do you ever take the headlights out or the lights out and take them apart and reseal them? Question mark. But then after he says, so no water can get into them?
So usually you want to buy ones that have vents in them, like these. These have rubber vent covers on them. And this does keep water from getting in there. And if it does get water in there, it doesn't trap it and get moisture in it. If you don't have the vents, what you can do is find the lowest point of the light and put a small drill through that corner. What that does is it vents the light, and if any moisture does get in there, it just runs out the weep hole. Usually I'll try to find a spot, like if the headlight was sitting in here like this and this corner was down, I would actually take the light out and drill the hole from the bottom here where you wouldn't see it. And then it'll just run out the weep hole, and it would run down in a spot that you wouldn't necessarily see it. So that's usually how I fix that part of it. With these, the new ones should not be leaking, and they should have the vents in them. But if you do get a set that is pretty bad or just not working properly, by all means, use that technique. Drill the hole in the lowest corner so that it runs out. And a very small hole is smaller than even an 1/8 inch. You don't need a big hole in there because all you're trying to do is keep moisture from building up inside the lens from temperature differences. Really, you won't get a lot of water in there unless you're driving through like heavy rains constantly. But even at that case, you usually don't get big water buildup. The reason you see big water buildup is the condensation over time has built that water level up. So usually putting that drill hole in there fixes the entire problem. So hopefully that answers your question.
We only have one moderator in right now, and that's Aim High. She says, ooh, snazzy looking lights.
Yep. So these are the Euro style taillights that you can buy for this car. They are a pretty popular design for the 04 GTOs. The reason I'm going with this style is my headlights are of the same style, even though the stock ones are of that Euro style. We are putting new headlights in this car because these are toasted. These are in really bad shape. The lenses are all bled out. So the front headlights are in really bad shape. We will be doing a video on that. Let's go ahead and change our brake and clearance light, and let's change our reverse light. Let's leave our turn signal alone because we're not going to be changing that because of what I just told you guys. We don't want to have that fast flash, so we're going to go ahead and avoid that by not changing that one. These old school bulbs, guys, we don't have to worry about if we touch them or not. So we are safe to touch the old school ones. Even though they're LED, they are a sealed bulb where we don't have to worry about touching any of the filaments. So
like a certain brand is safe, or
pretty much all the styles that have this metal casing, these are going to be sealed. So we don't have to worry about how we touch these. If they were not, if they had the plastic bottoms to them, what we would have to do is very carefully touch the bulb or wear clean gloves so we don't get oil from our hands on those bulbs and short them out. So you guys just saw me plug in the reverse light. I am now going to drop this one in the socket and give it a eighth turn. It's not even a quarter turn. It's like an eighth turn. It's barely anything to get it to go in there. Next, we want to do our brake. So this is the next. Yes, we will be doing a reveal on this once we get all the bulbs in and everything put back in place. So there will be a reveal on this.
How come this is considered an LS when everything is leather and seems to be a higher package?
Okay, so good question by our producer there. LS is referring to the engine series. So an LS engine is 4.8, 5.3, 6.0. The LS engines can be found in the pickups, in the sports cars, pretty much everything that has the V8 engine. Those are the sought after engines for most people when it comes to doing any kind of sports car project or even a sport truck package. So the reason it got named LS GOAT is the engine is a 5.7 LS. The reason that it has leather is this is the more of the performance model I don't want to say Trans Am series because it's not really a Trans Am series, but it's the higher end package for the GTOs. This one has the manual in it. It has the leather interior in it. Pretty much full power that you could get in this car for this year, make, and model. Now, they might have done a stripped down model that had cloth interior, but a lot of the GTOs just came with the leather interior package already included.
Interesting.
So now we're going to talk about this harness, guys, because this harness gave me some problems when I was doing the other side. On this connector right here, there are some plastic pieces on the inside. It's going to be hard to see because of my camera. But right where my fingernail is there's a little plastic tab there that has to get trimmed off. And we need to trim this little bit of plastic so that the tail light plugs in. If we don't do this, then the tail light will not plug in. And this is just how they molded it when they made it. So what we're trying to do is just trim that little bit of plastic off so that it plugs in smoothly.
Bacon Craft YT asks, what about 3800 LS motors?
Well, I'm not trying to make fun of the 3800 guys, but to me, the LSs, the ones that are sought after, the ones that people build, the ones that people stick good money into, including us, and I'll be talking about that later on in the video when we talk about where this project is going, that the 3800s are not really super sought after. They were reliable, very reliable, and most LS series engines are. They are usually pretty reliable. The only thing you have to pay attention to is doing your oil changes on time. So as long as you do your oil changes on time, the LS engines, for the most part, are very reliable. But yes, there is the 3800 series engines. I just personally, I don't look at them as the sought after LS series of engines. So I know I'm going to get some guys that are absolutely loving their Pontiacs and stuff like that, and they're going to be chewing me up over that deal.
Just don't make them like they used to, huh?
No, not really.
So, a reminder, we are here the last Saturday of every month. Sorry for those of you who were looking for us Memorial weekend. I totally messed that up last time. So, actually, yeah, there was another Saturday in there of the month that I didn't even see. So, I apologize for those of you who
Came to check us out on that day, and we weren't there, but
hopefully you'll come back or see the video and yeah.
yeah, we do this every last Saturday of the month, guys. That's when we do our live shows. So, and if you have notifications turned on, there is a new thing on YouTube, guys, that if you want to check out our shows, make sure you click all notifications. If you don't click all notifications, something with the new setup on YouTube is it's not notifying people unless they have all notifications turned on. So underneath where you subscribe to the channel to us, make sure you click the all notifications. Then you'll get notified when I drop videos, which I do 3 a week. And you'll get notified when we do our lives, which is the last Saturday of the month. What you guys are seeing me do now is I'm carefully trimming out this harness so that I can get this put into place.
It's going to be so fun seeing those, in my opinion, very strikingly beautiful lights on there.
Yep.
Quite a change simple lights can make.
Yep, just the simple things oftentimes can really change the overall look of the car and how the car kind of feels. You know, that's why we do a lot of the customizing stuff that we do. It's why we do these little projects. And this does get into what I wanted to talk about a little bit with the project. Overall, you want to do stuff that gives you the easy wins when you first start out working on a car. You don't want to jump into a big project, tear into it, and then have it feel like it's overwhelming. And pulling a motor, pulling a transmission, doing all of this crazy stuff can really give you that feel like this is a massive project. How am I ever going to get this done? And if you don't get a few wins underneath your belt before you start tackling the bigger projects, the project can get away from you very, very quickly. So in order to avoid it getting away from me, I like to take the time to do a few small projects and get the wind going and make sure I have good momentum going into the bigger projects. Usually, anytime I'm going to do a project car, what I like to do is I like to do some of the cosmetic stuff first. The reason I go for the cosmetics is if I can't make the car look good, why waste the time to dump a bunch of motor in the transmission, in the motor, everything else? You want to make sure that everything's good. You want to be able to put your hands all over the car to find out what you're taking apart, what you're going to leave, and then ultimately what you're going to modify. And doing the small stuff gives you a chance to kind of work around the car, figure out what's going on, what damage is there, what things you have to fix. These are all important processes of planning your project. Get into that more a little bit later, but we are ready to see what this looks like. I'm going to go ahead and dim the lights here in the studio, guys. And I will flip the lights on and I will give you guys the reverse light. So that's with reverse lights on, guys. These LEDs are way brighter than the incandescents that were in this. So this will help me as I'm backing up. I will be able to see behind me a lot better. This is the brake lights. Do we have brake lights?
All I see is the top there.
Okay.
Is
So
that all that there is?
should have been brake lights on the bottom there. So what this is telling me is the brake lights. This is why we test. This is why we test, guys. This is why we have to test. So these are not having enough resistance that when we press the light, press the pedal, we're not getting brake lights. So we have clearance, but we don't have brake. This is why we test. Double check one more time. Yep. All right. So you guys are going to get to see something that I wasn't planning on doing. We get to pull the driver's side apart just to pull our LED lights out. So these lights will not work because they need the incandescent, which means the only thing we can put the LED in is the reverse light. You guys remember earlier in the video I said there is an incandescent light and you can't run LED lights in the turn signals because you would need to add a resistor. Well, as we just found out, we can't run our brake lights for that same reason. So how this is wired up in the system is the wires come in, are fed back to the system. What happens is it senses a load on this light. If it can't sense the load, what it'll do is it won't allow the switch to work. So the switch needs a certain amount of resistance to work. Right now, that switch is not getting that resistance. So in order for us to fix that, I have to pull these bulbs out and I can't run these in the taillights at all, which is a little frustrating. It means I got to pull this side apart and I got to find the bulb because I think I probably put that bulb away. So I got to dig that out of where I keep my spare bulbs.
We were too positive thinking, huh?
Yeah, I was hoping that it would work. It worked when I had just one in it. I had the incandescent over here. I had the LED over here, and it worked. That's what told me, hey, maybe this will work. So I was worth a shot to try it.
Does that mean one side it could and the other not?
Yes, but I don't like doing my lights. You can, and there's nothing wrong with that. You can absolutely do it that way, but I prefer to put the incandescent in it the way it was designed. That way I don't have any issues. And I noticed that when I slammed this taillight in before, one of the clips broke. I'll show you guys this clip. So this is the aftermarket clip, guys. And that thing broke in two different pieces. That's what holds this corner into place. Otherwise, there's nothing really holding that corner in. So what I'm going to do is check to make sure that this is lined up the way it's supposed to be.
Thank you guys so much for your likes and your questions in the chat. It really helps the channel and to get it out to other people. And the more people watch, the more it shows, the more we can in the future do even bigger projects or maybe go to live car shows, but we have to get permission. And a lot of times they want to give permission to people who lots of people see it. So thank you so much for all your support.
What I'm doing, guys, is I'm checking for the stock clip that broke. I've got one stock one over here, but I also need to find that bulb.
So if you're new to the channel, we are working on kind of the sports car today, but we also have average cars, like we have a Kia Soul and a Silverado truck.
Yes. Yep.
Silverado truck.
Big Red is our 2013 Silverado. You guys have seen a lot of videos, and all of the short clips are currently on are about Big Red right now. So Big Red is kind of the main topic for the channel currently with everything that's been going on with Big Red. We have currently finished that truck, and you guys are seeing the next project here on the live stream. This is a benefit that people get by tuning into the live streams. You guys get more of the behind the scenes things than what most people do. Most people don't get these behind the scenes things. So you guys are getting sneak peeks. You guys are getting when we're in the projects and we are working on things, that's what this time is. So you guys get to see this stuff where most people will not. And oftentimes our projects are really far out, guys. So like we'll be in a project and the videos that you guys are seeing are stuff that I did basically months ago. Big Red has been finished for over 2 months, just to give you guys a heads up. He's been finished that long. We've been driving it. We've been using it. Trying to do is get this corner to snap in, because right now it's not snapping in, and this is just going to flap. Yeah, sometimes these stock clips are not very friendly to use. I have switched the one clip over here. I've already switched that.
Our only moderator here right now, Aim High, says not many two-door cars anymore. Yeah, I heard things like car insurance costs more for two-door cars as opposed to four, and it's different. People with families probably want four-door cars and stuff. So, I'm seeing more SUVs out there. So yeah, it's more if you have more people, it seems that's more of the market right now rather than people buying it just for couples to drive around.
Yeah, and some of that is coming about because people are using it to haul their families around, but the auto manufacturers are also not really pushing the sports car market. And if they are, they're trying to make big money on it, which is why they've made the Corvette a mid-engine versus a front engine. It's why they're chasing Nürburgring lap times with that car. They're basically trying to still hype up the industry when it comes to the sports cars, but the issue is coming in with them being able to sell these cars to the average people, because the average people don't really want to buy a car like that. You know, if they're going to spend the money on a car, they want something that they're going to enjoy driving. And when it comes down to it, some of these cars are so expensive. I mean, you're going to spend $100,000 for a Corvette. That's the going rate right now on the market for the Corvettes, which in my mind is not affordable. I'll tell you guys right now, this car, I spent $9,000 to get this car. And the base design of this car gives me a lot of options, meaning that I have motor options. I have things I can do with the overall car to get this thing to actually have double the horsepower that it currently has. And this makes the car actually fun to own, fun to drive, and fun to do stuff with. When you spend $100,000 on a Corvette, you're not going to be really doing anything with that car other than driving it, because you're spending all your money to buy the car.
Moderator Aim High saying, isn't it amazing how classic cars were for daily driving and now they're considered special and like, you know, how high priced and stuff?
Yeah. It's funny how that's all switched and how the classic cars nowadays are like $30,000. Well, brand new, those cars only sold for basically $3,000. And this gives us an idea of what inflation does to vehicles, what it does to our markets, what it does to everything, and why inflation isn't necessarily the best. So the more that people make, the more they're just going to raise the cost of what it takes to make things. So we're never getting ahead. We're caught in this vicious cycle of we make more, but we spend more. We make more, but we spend more. At some point, there needs to be a market adjustment, but it has to be all the way across the board. We can't just say this one person's going to do all the market adjustment. It doesn't work that way. It's the entire market has to take a drop, and it has to be across all markets. Well, not all markets are willing to work with other markets because they're competing. So it really does get into a multifaceted problem. Let's go ahead.
Thank you, Moderator Aim High. We love our moderators. They keep the conversation going.
Yes, thank you. So we should have had brake lights there. Yep, we do.
Now it's going, yep.
So what that told me, guys, is we can't run the LEDs for our brake lights. The reason why is because of that resistor issue. The LEDs don't have the same amount of draw on the system. So they pull a lower voltage, a lower wattage.
Sorry, I forgot. I can't do the...
Yep. Producer can't use our keyboard to type out messages. But when we pull that lower wattage, what happens is it will trip the system and they won't work the way they're supposed to. So now that we've got everything mounted in, I'm just double checking to make sure that everything's in and tight. I will be test driving this car to make sure that these work. If they don't, what I'm going to have to do is pull these two screws out. There is a tab in here, and I might have to twist that tab so that it pops in and locks into place, because I don't want these being pulled out as the car is driving. Like that. I was able to easily get my hand underneath there and pull this out. I can't have that. So we're gonna attempt to fix this right now. We do it live, guys. We do it live. So there is a tab.
Show you the blood, sweat, and tears.
Yeah, show you everything.
We need a sound that's like celebratory when we fix something.
Well, and this does highlight what happens when we buy aftermarket stuff. So because this is aftermarket, we have to do some modification here. Trying to hang the taillight to where it isn't going to scratch the car, guys. There we go. All right, I'm going to grab a small adjustable wrench and see if I can modify this to where that'll snap in. This has to happen, though, in order for us to know when we got things that work well and when they don't. We show you guys everything, because if you guys are buying these, you know, it doesn't have to be on a GTO. It could be on a Camaro. It could be on anything. Is we don't necessarily get everything that we need in a vehicle. So and when it comes to some of this stuff, if we don't have this stuff set up properly and adjusted out, then it doesn't work like it's supposed to. So there is a tab with a pin. It's going to be hard to see what I did. Yeah. So it's difficult to see, but right here where my finger is, there is a pin.
Which finger? Yeah, thank you.
So right here, there is a pin. That pin is screwed into the taillight. What I did was I turned that screw out just a bit. What that should do now is allow me to snap my taillight into place. And we heard it break. Yep.
Oh no.
Shattered the clip.
I don't know if you guys saw, but black pieces went on the floor. Not a good sign.
Yep. So we also broke the clip on the other side as well. So now I have to try to find my stock clip. Apparently these aftermarket ones are just junk. So now I'm going to see if I can find it. And this is a sealed off area, so it's not something that I can it's not something that I can reach from the back side. So if I can't reach it from the back side, I'm not able to put a bolt in it. So I need these weird plastic clips right here. These are what I need. Luckily, I did not throw this one away. And I'm going to try something a little bit different. I'm going to snap the clip into here. Then I will set it up and try to push it in. No, you guys are having trouble seeing, but what I'm trying to do is basically duplicate what OEM did. Only getting this to line up the way it's supposed to before I go pressing it in.
What is OEM?
OEM is how the original equipment manufacturer installed these lights. So what I'm trying to do is reduplicate that. Okay, so that held. And I can get my screws put back in it. So what I had to do here, guys, is I had to put the clip onto the tab, and then I just pushed everything in at one time to get it to snap into place. I don't want this to come apart. This design would actually come apart at higher speeds down the highway without that clip in there.
And of course, it's a sports car, so we are driving it at higher speed. More likely. Of
Safely, of course.
course.
So now that I got this one in there and I heard it snap in, I can't pull it out. This side is good. What I'm going to do is come over here and check this side. All right, this side is snapping in, so I'm going to leave that alone. Stock clips, guys, are junk. You guys saw me just shatter one. This was the other one from the other side. This was this side.
So if you were planning this at home, would you get backup ones?
Either get the factory ones and don't use the ones that come in the taillight kit, or reuse the ones you have because they are better quality than what you're going to get. So that is the pro tip.
That's sad.
Yes.
Pro tip.
So next, before I close the trunk, we obviously know that the lights work. We're going to go ahead and put our felt back in place where it belongs. Get this all sealed up. We're going to put our two pop clips back in place where they belong. All right, producer, how are we doing on views and likes? Where are we at?
Says we got 5 watching now, but it just jumped up to that, and 3 likes. So we're doing really good. Thank you guys so much because it helps the channel. And the more our channel gets out there, the more we can do more for you all.
Yep, we need to get to a point where we're getting enough live views, we're getting enough interaction with all of our videos, not just our live streams. So we can do car shows for you guys. So we can go to some of these events because we do have to talk to the producers of these events. And a lot of them don't want to talk to anybody that's doing shows like this unless they reach a certain level. So guys, definitely help get us out there, help get the word out there. We are on YouTube and on Facebook. So we are on both platforms, but we only live stream here on YouTube. We don't live stream on Facebook. It's not beneficial for us. So this is where we live stream.
If you want to support a small business, this is the way to do it.
Yes. So bonus content, we're going to replace these little shocks for our trunk lid.
Ooh.
These are really simple to do, and I'll show you guys once we get the old one out.
Bonus.
But this is some bonus content for you guys because I really don't want to have to go back into this trunk area once I'm done. So the bonus for you guys, and it's a bonus for me because I don't have to do this again.
Kind of a tip. If you're in an area and you have the parts, why not do it, right?
Correct. Don't make it to where you're not completely finishing the job. If you have the parts and you're in there, it's better to replace those parts and do it right. This is a big pro tip from me because anytime I go in to do any kind of work, whether it's a wheel bearing, whether it's brakes, anything, if I see something that isn't right, I make it to where I need to fix it and make sure that everything is in good shape when I'm done. The last thing you want to do is run the risk of taking it all apart and then realizing Great. Now I got to go back in when I was already there and I could have done it. There's one clip here that's an absolute nightmare. Hey, producer, are we picking up the dog barking?
No,
Okay, good.
there's
We have
no
pretty
else
big
here.
dogs next door with our neighbors, and I wanted to ask the producer if we were picking up noise. If we were, we would close the
From
window.
what I see on the audio,
Okay.
yes, let us know out there if you're hearing dogs in the background, but I don't see it on the audio.
Okay, so these are challenging if you've never done them.
Challenge.
And the only reason that they're challenging is because oftentimes these are not put in good places. They're put in difficult positions. It's hard to get in there and do these. And you fight to get the clearance that you need.
Fight for your right for clearance.
Yeah. One way of putting it. Trying to put this clip on, but I'm not going to mutilate my fingers to do it. So here is our old one, guys. There is a pop clip, this little metal clip here.
Wow.
This clip is all that holds that little socket in place. What you need to do is, if you can reach, you get in with a flat screwdriver and pick that tab up. Here's what it looks like. This one's still on here. You get in between here and you just pick this tab up.
Left or right a little bit, yeah. There you go.
So you just pick this tab up.
You got more black with the light now.
Yeah, yep. So just pick that tab up and then pull it out of the socket. This one is designed that there's a socket here and a socket here. So they're at almost 180 turn from each other. So that is the challenge of removing these. Before you install your new ones, make sure they are the exact same length and style. If you took out one that had 90-degree elbows on it, like, or I should say 180-degree elbows, like the elbows were 180 degrees apart, make sure that you have it set up to go in that exact same way. If the elbows are not, you may have to slightly turn this one socket to get it to where you want to go. Don't force the shock, because what will happen is you can twist that shock and actually wreck it. So usually what I do is, if I need to turn, I'll turn either one end, and they're threaded in, so you can turn these. So I will turn them as I need them to be in the proper location. Don't over tighten these. If it doesn't want to go, then you'll have to back it off and do almost a full revolution out to get it to go. So this one wants to go quite a bit of ways around. But yeah, you don't want to force the shock to turn, because sometimes these shocks don't turn.
Just a reminder, we read the top 3 people in the chats at the end of the show. So a little competition.
Yep. And if you're not a mod and you want to be, this is a good chance for you to get that chance to be a moderator of the channel. Is we are open to having regular mods that come in. If you are on regularly and you're in the top 3, there's a chance that you could become a moderator of our channel. So a little additional for you guys. So how these work is you just press them into place. They will snap in. Once they've snapped in, now this has nice solid shocks. This will stay up. I don't have to worry about this falling down on somebody if they were reaching in here. The old ones, they use these on metal hoods. This one had hood shocks like this, not quite this style, but similar. It had these shocks, and the shocks were so bad that if you let the pressure come down, it would actually drop the hood on your head.
Whoa, yikes.
Yeah, so needs to be replaced. When it comes to it, don't take a chance with those. It's okay to just go ahead and replace them. All right, so I'm going to clean some of my mess up here only because I'm going to close this trunk up to do the next part of the show, guys. So we are reaching a transition. I moved everything over, so I got to pull almost everything out of here. We do have some bonus content. If we get up to, what are we at for lights?
3. We're still stuck at 3.
Okay, so if we get up to 5 likes, guys, I will give you guys more bonus content today. And the bonus content will be on the rims. So if we get to 5, you guys will get that bonus. You guys are definitely going to want it because I can tell you right now, with what I've already done on 3 of the rims on this car, it looks amazing. So get us to 5 and we will do the bonus content today. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a hood prop rod. This is a specialty tool that you guys can buy. I usually have one on hand no matter what, because there are times that I'll work on a car and a customer may or may not want to spend the money on new hood shocks, but I don't want a car hood dropping on my head. So I will get a tool like this that allows me to support something so it doesn't fall on me. The reason I want to prop this up is we're taking this badging off. This badging's coming off. This badging is coming off. This stuff is going away. And you guys are going to see why I said the overall look of this was important. What we're going to start with first is I'm going to tell you we're going fishing. We're going to use fishing line to get those off. And the reason I do it this way is it just makes everything so much easier. So what I do is I get off enough fishing line that I need. I will move my tape up.
Moderator aim high says easier is better.
Yes. There's no point in fighting something when you could just do it a simple way. And this is exactly what this is it's just a simple way of removing badging. It's an old school trick that a lot of people have used for a long time. And what you do is you take a couple of bolts and you tie the string off on the end of the bolts. The reason you're tying it off is so that it doesn't come off while you're using it like almost like a sawing wire type thing. Now, some people will just wrap it around the bolt and then put the bolt in their hand. And they'll do the same with the other side. But I have found when I just wrap it around the bolts as I'm sawing, it tends to slip off the bolts and doesn't want to stay on very easy. So I tie a simple knot in it and then stick the bolt in there.
There's an idea. Any of you, what's your favorite of our merchandise so far? If you can put that in the chat. What's your favorite merchandise that we offer so far?
You guys like the hats? Do you guys like the shirts? Do you like the hoodies? Do you like the drink cups? These are three of the popular styles. We also have stickers on there, but we haven't done much with stickers yet. Hopefully we will
So
in the
far, I
future.
like the drink cups the most myself, but we haven't had winter here. So I really like the soft hoodies, but I haven't been able to wear it yet.
Yep. So people that are used to going fishing all the time are better at making these knots than I am. I haven't been fishing in many, many years because I've spent too much time underneath the hood of cars. But if I can't get it, yeah, I'm just, my knot tying skill with fishing line is not very good. So I'm just going to move into just holding it.
And nobody typed in the chat that dogs were bothering, so I think we're good.
All right. We also got somebody mowing, a neighbor mowing, so that might cause some issues too. So there is the stock badging and its location. This is what I'm going to need to mark off to put the stock one into place before I clean that off. So just know that this is how you remove the badging. There's something in there that broke that. All right, so now we get to play doctor because there's a pin in here. Again, we always use the plastic tools. We don't put metal tools on here.
No scratchy.
Yeah, we don't want to have stuff scratch. So what I'm doing is I'm just using the plastic tool to wiggle this up because I'm certain, and I can already feel it, there are some tabs on this particular badge. I was correct. 2 tabs on the back of this badge. Those little tabs are markers so that the badge goes in the right spot. Before I get super carried away removing all the glue, I will want to verify that my new badging has those same markers. Because if they don't, I will need to mark off, and it does not. Go figure. So I will need to mark off where that badging is before I install the new one.
Do you clean anything before you put the new ones on?
Got to clean everything yet. I still have to remove this GTO though, and then we got to remove all the glue. So what I do, guys, is I remove all of my badging first before I do any cleanup process because I'm going to make a mess cleaning up. But because we broke the string removing the badging, I had to get a new piece of string.
Seems like one of our more cleaner videos, projects. Other projects have been oil based or, changing oil, changing something that has fluids, a little dirtier.
Yeah, this one is not a super dirty video. This is just more detailing and time consuming because you got to be careful not to scratch or wreck anything. It takes time to get in there and do what you need to do. Being able to take the time to diagnose problems as well. Well, some of that is happening here at the same time. Well, almost sliced through, and then it tore the string again. Do not do a metal braided fishing line, guys. Don't do that. You do want to buy the cheap Tencel fishing line. Even if you break it a few times, I'm just going to bring this over because I keep going back and forth. I'm tired of it. But
Aim High Moderator says, I like the t-shirts.
nice. Yes, we offer up to 5X, guys, on the shirts and the hoodies. So, and our hats are all Velcro backed. One size fits all for the hats. So, and when we do start doing shows as well, there is different merch that we have at those shows. We have a different supplier locally than what we do on our YouTube channel. The designs are very similar, but there is a slight difference in the shirt material and everything else. This is why we use fishing line, guys. We just took those off real quick without scratching the paint at all.
Yay.
So what we're going to do is clean this badging up. We're going to remove the adhesive glue. There's a couple of different ways we can do this. What I'm doing is I'm picking up all my old ones. Sometimes I will keep them if I ever thought I had to put them back on, but if not, I'll just throw them. So next, we're going to go ahead and remove all of this glue, and then we're going to mark where this stuff was so that we can put the new badging on. How we remove glue, we do this very simple. We try not to get super carried away. But we use a drill and we use an eraser wheel. This removes the adhesive.
No sticky stuff.
Yep, we got to remove all that adhesive. It cannot stay on. The badging will not stick if the foam adhesive is still on there, so that has to all come off. The reason we use the eraser wheel is it doesn't damage the paint. Unless you've got an issue like that one right there. So there was something hidden underneath there. So,
You get that with used vehicles.
yep.
But if you just bought the car and you're changing out the decals, go back to your dealer.
Yep, go back to your dealer and go, yeah, we had a paint failure. You guys are not hearing me speed up the drill very much at all. Yeah, and there was another mark underneath this one. So this was all underneath the badging. That tells me where I need to put it. Up underneath here, this is another spot because if you ever had damage from an accident or anything, you could easily find that damage. Okay. So our glue is all gone. We are not done cleaning though. So in order to get this done right, we do have to rely on our trusty old friend, General Purpose Adhesive Remover. This stuff is a staple in this garage, and I use it on so many different things. Even detailing cars, I will sometimes use a wipe down process, and I will start wiping down the car with General Purpose Adhesive Remover to remove any waxes, any greases, any oils. This does a great job of bringing everything down to paint again so that you don't have any buildup.
Thank you for being with us today. We go live the last Saturday of every month at 1 Central.
And if you guys want to see more shows, make sure you guys are tuning in during our show times, and make sure you're here and active in the chat. That helps us to gauge when we should add more shows. There are the special times that we will add a show here or there, but for the most part, we will not deviate from the last Saturday of every month unless we are at like a car show or we're at doing a special event type thing. We can add more shows later on, but that comes down to the engagement level. We used to do live shows a lot more. There were times I was doing 2 live shows every weekend, and it was getting to the point I wasn't able to get the rest of my work done. So we had to kind of scale back some of the live shows until our live shows start taking off.
But there's plenty of videos on the channel that you can search and find whatever your project is, I'm sure, and fixing it. Otherwise, chat in and ask for advice and or anything you need help with or an idea you want in the future.
Yeah, we also do Q&As at the end of shows and news. So we leave that up to you guys if you want Q&A or news. So we'll be leaving that up to you guys today once we get to that point.
We have a new chatter. Marcus Welby1 said sold as a Vauxhall Monero GTO in the UK.
Yes, correct. This car, technically, not a GM product. It is a Holden Commodore project. Or not Commodore, but Holden is the company that originally designed this entire setup. And when you're underneath it, you can definitely tell this was not a full GM car. And some of the things in there make it very hard to get parts for, by the way.
Oh, no.
So this is the badging we are going with, guys.
Ooh, black and red.
We are ditching our chrome accent stuff or our silver badging stuff for the black and red badging.
And just so you guys know or are aware, our shopping tab that ships all over the world. So we know we have international viewers, and Fourth Wall will take your payments that are locally. So
Yep. So we ship internationally. You guys can get our shirts, our hats, everything. Get them anywhere, any part of the world. They will ship out to you guys. We wanted a place that was going to be able to handle all of our merch stuff, and Fourth Wall was the one that was willing to do it. Okay, so now what we've got left is our 5.7, which is our engine size. This is a 350 LS engine. These were not very common of engines, but you can produce quite a bit of power. And when I break down the future projects of this car, you guys will understand why this car became my chosen go-to and why I chased after this car in the first place. So these have a clear backing on it. It's hard to see, guys.
against the red, it would help.
But
you.
yeah, there's a clear backer. You remove the white paper backing, and then you line up your badging.
Cover up any spots.
Yep. If you have a bad spot in the paint, you're going to use the badging to cover that up.
Is it still like a metal or is it rubber?
These are plastic.
Plastic.
So the other ones were plastic too. They were just different color. So these are just swapping, basically color swapping the badging is all that it's doing.
So it was chrome colored, but not even chrome.
Yeah, it was basically silver-ish. So what I decided was we're going to switch it over to a black badging. And my whole reasoning for it is it just works better with my taillights, with the future headlights, and the rims on this car.
Yep, those new taillights that we put in earlier in the show.
How are we at the likes? Do we have enough to do the additional bonus content on the rims?
Nope, still at 3.
Guys, got to get those likes up. Help us out.
Do this once a month so we can answer your questions and have a little fun with all of us together.
So this one has clear backing on it, which is hard to see, but it also has a foam lineup pad. What this does is keeps all of my badging lined up. So when I set my badging down, it's going to be in the right position.
See if I can get in here.
LS Goat is getting a facelift today, guys. It's getting new styling
Pretty.
and some overall looks. And it's giving us a chance to kind of go through everything. We've got one more big badge to put on the front of this car.
What do you think, guys?
How does the overall look fit? Give us a 1 in the chat if you guys like the overall layout so far of how it looks. 1 in the chat if you guys like the look. You guys
She's got the look.
Yep. Don't sing that song too much, we'll get copyright.
Can't even have my voice doing it. Wow.
Apparently not.
No fun.
Yep.
Got a 1 from our moderator, Aim High.
There is the overall look, guys. This is with the black badging, silver removed. I do like this as far as a cleaner look, especially with the taillights put into place. It makes the car look cleaner and kind of blends in with the overall look of the car.
Schnazzy. I like eyeliner on it.
This was some of the stuff that I was battling as I was trying to do this entire project, guys. I wanted a project that was going to go together well and clean, and it wasn't going to be really distracting. I wanted the car to look good at a show, but also I want the car to be able to go. And that's what we're going to be doing with this car. We are now going to go ahead and transition over, guys. And I'm going to do the project breakdown on this car. Sorry about that. I jumped over the video. But we are going to go ahead and we are going to do the breakdown on this car. Where we're going with it, what we're doing with it, and why this has been such a prolonged project and why we're nowhere near the beginning of what this project is going to be.
Thank you, moderator, for voting.
Yep. Guys, get those likes up if you want us to do the additional bonus content. Without getting the likes up, we can't dive into the next part of doing the additional with the rim stuff. You guys really are going to want that content because it's going to give you guys an idea of what you can do with your rims, especially on a used car. So get the likes up. what we're doing is we're getting into position here to be able to start doing a few more things. And some of the stuff gets to be towards the tail end of the video when we do a lot of additional stuff. This is where we do the Q&A. This is where we also do the news. But before we do all that, we've already done the transition to what is this project? What does it look like? Well, here's what it's going to look like. What you guys see for exterior stuff is just to make it look good at a car show. This isn't performance based at all. It's just looks. And the reason I'm taking the time to do this, and why most people that do project cars, especially their own, is they want time to drive the car, shake out the bugs, and figure out what's going on with it. If you don't figure out where those bugs are, you don't know where to invest your money. You don't know what needs to be fixed versus what was already good and you didn't have to take it apart. I can tell you right now, this project is going to get very labor intensive when we start tearing into this car, because what it's going to take is the motor has to come out, the transmission has to come out, the drive shaft has to come out, the CV axles have to come out. Based on all of that, I'm going to wind up probably taking my brakes apart. I'm going to be winding up taking out the entire exhaust system. I'm going to have to drop the fuel tank and put a bigger fuel pump in it. These are all chain link events. So when you try to boost the horsepower of an engine, you get what they call a cascade effect, where it affects other things down the line. What this affects is injectors, and it affects fuel pumps, fuel regulators. All of this comes into play. The reason this is crucial to know and understand and do your homework before you start digging into it is to understand where you're going to spend that money. And where it's important to spend the money is in the motor. The motor is your key central piece of what the car can and can't be. If you can't do anything with the motor and you can't get any more performance out of it, you've limited yourself to what the car is capable of doing. In order to get the motor up to where we need it to be, we're going to need to do supporting modifications to make that motor work. Supporting modifications are going to be injectors. It's going to be a bigger fuel pump. It has to. It needs more fuel. Because what we're doing with the motor is stock. This thing has about 345 horsepower stock. We want to double that number. And in order to double that number, we have to strip the motor down to a bare block. We then have to go through it, make sure everything's good. We may have to re-sleeve the block, but we're going to need to replace our entire bottom end of the engine. Meaning we got to put in a crank, we got to put in new connecting rods, and all of these components need to be forged because we need it to withstand the pressure that we're going to put into the motor. If we don't do this, what happens is we run the risk of grenading the motor when we start getting into higher RPMs. So everything has to be balanced. Oh, we got a question.
Moderator Aim High asks, is there a limit to what the car can do no matter what you put in it?
To a certain point. It depends on how far you and your budget are willing to go. You can always put in a different engine altogether. We're trying to keep numbers matching casings. So I'm not worried about the heads. I could ditch the heads and not care, but I want the block to be original to the car. I want the casting of the transmission to be original to the car. With those original, you can say this car has original components. So that does give a little bit more for value of car, but it really doesn't make that big of a difference. Now, if you build too much power and you break these things, you are forced to find an alternative, which means it will no longer be numbers matching. What some people do at that point is they take those components out and set them to the side, and they buy all new components that they build the horsepower with, because if they blow up the motor, they don't have to worry about destroying that numbers matching motor that belongs to the car originally. So that is an alternative way to go if you know you're going to be building crazy horsepower. Crazy horsepower, in my mind, is anything over 600 horsepower. Once you go over 600, you are reaching the level of crazy. Crazy means you could wreck the motor, you could wreck a transmission. It's real easy to make a mistake while driving the car and have it wreck the car. So when you start playing with those kind of numbers, you're getting close. And we are teetering on that horsepower range because that's right where I want to be. This car, I want this car to be naturally aspirated. I want to be able to fill it up on 91 pump gas, and I still want to produce over 500 horsepower. From the engine dyno guy that I talked to, that is a very easily achievable thing. He thinks we can get closer to that 600 mark. If it winds up being there, good, but I'm not going to really push for it. One way that I can get it above 600 horsepower is I could add nitrous to this car. The reason I would go the nitrous route, not a turbo or supercharger, and it isn't that you can't make those items reliable. It's the fact that nitrous gives you the alternative of just running naturally aspirated fuel. Meaning I could run 91 octane, and when I wanted to go race it, I could put my nitrous bottle in the back, hit the button, and get another 200 horsepower. I would probably only do a 200 shot because once you go up into the 400, you are risking the entire motor just launching the heads or launching the intake. Not worth the risk. So there, I would not even play that game. Plus, we are looking at running a stock plastic intake. We may switch it out to a fast intake. We may go with the LSX intake. But if it isn't going to benefit us in the horsepower range, we're not going to do it because the bang isn't there for the buck. Those are very expensive intakes. And if we're able to produce over 500 horsepower on a plastic intake, why change it? We're able to make it work without having to go way above and beyond and spend money on something that might only give us 5 more horsepower. So that's at some point you do reach a trade-off point of, are you willing to spend $2,000 for 5 more horsepower? Or do you just say that 5 horsepower isn't that big a deal to me? On a daily driver, you wouldn't even think about these questions because a daily driver, you're not going to go through this much work. You're going to get a daily driver running right and tune it up to where it's reliable for you. That's it. On a performance car, it's different. This isn't a daily driver. You are chasing horsepower. You are chasing performance. But sometimes the juice isn't worth the squeeze. And that's where you have to ask yourself, when is it and when isn't it? And for me, the plastic intake is probably more than good enough as long as I can put the right throttle body on it to match that performance that we're going after. So if I can get all those components to work without having to spend high dollar, that's what I'm going to do. Because I am limited with my heads that are on this car. I can't really switch out to the other style of head because the bolt pattern is completely different. I have to stick with a similar style head that I have on here, but we are going to be doing some porting and polishing and doing a valve job on it because we need it to withstand a really large cam. And the cam is going to give us a lot of the power and performance. The bottom end will help us to be able to hold that power and performance, but the cam is where we're going to get the power from. So these are things that you think about when you start building the motor. Next, we're going to move into the transmission. The reason I want a transmission that'll handle 1,000 horsepower, I'm not saying I'm going to get to that point, but if I add nitrous and it boosts me 200 horsepower, I'm at 800. I want to be at that 1,000 on the transmission so I know I don't throw a gear. Because if I throw a gear, I could wind up doing damage to a drive shaft and have a drive shaft come loose. There's a lot of crazy things that can happen just in the gearbox alone. And I do have some supporting mods that already go with that. A short throw shifter, the skip shift eliminator. These were all simple things that I've already bought in preparation for that build. So then we're building the transmission. Well, we got a piece in between there. What do we do with that piece? That piece is the clutch. The clutch definitely has to handle 1,000 horsepower because the amount of torque you're putting down is where the clutch really has to be able to withstand the amount of torque. It isn't the horsepower, it's the torque that the clutch has to handle. Oh, we got a question.
Moderator Aim High asked, are you planning on racing?
I will not be taking this car to a track. And that's the only way I'm going to answer that question. This is not a track car. Track cars are completely different. They are built for the track. This thing is not ever going to be built for the track. I will not be putting ladder bars on this. I will not be putting a mini tub setup in it with big slicks. This car is not meant for that. It was never built for that. The person who mentioned Holden, the original company that built the chassis on this car, they built this to be a road course car. They did not build this to be a track car. So it will never be a true great drag car, even though these things have great weight transfer. One of the best cars that you can get for weight transfer. Better than the RX-8, better than any newer car. Some even argue it's better than the newer C8 Corvettes. The reason why is if you have the right suspension set up in this car and you hit the gas, your front end of this car lifts, your back end squats. What it does is it brings all the weight from the front of the car to the back when it lifts and provides weight traction on the back. That's why these cars are so quick on the street. Is most of the time, these cars will not spin. It takes a lot to get these tires to do a burnout based on how these cars transfer weight. So if you have everything set up right, these cars just go. They don't spin, they just get up and run. And that's what made the Trans Am so lethal on the street, was they didn't spin, they just took off. You could launch at 2,500, 3,000 RPMs, and if you had good tires, it would just bite and run. And that's what this car does. I've already played around with it enough to know that, yeah, it doesn't spin very much. So to do a burnout, I actually have to try to force it to do a burnout. So hopefully that answers our mods question. As we come to the back, guys, I already talked a little bit about suspension. We are going to do a coilover kit on this car so I can adjust my ride height. I like that my back is a little bit lower because this head works great for the weight transfer. So I do like it to be kind of a tight clearance here. I would like it a little bit higher though. So I would like it to come up maybe another 1/4 inch. The front, I don't want to drop any more because I don't want the tire hitting the fender. So I need to keep that right where it's at. This is the only spot where I would want any kind of adjustment, but I want to be able to fully adjust my suspension. Coilover kit will give me that. Unfortunately, almost everything I've said up to this point is $1,000, $1,000, $1,000, $1,000. Drive shaft, 1,000. CV axles, 1,000. Coilover kit, 1,500. Where it gets really expensive, this is where it gets crazy, guys. Transmission could be as much as $3,000, $4,000. The motor, probably closer to 6, if not 8, depending on how far we go into the motor. We can play around with stock internals and get good power, but there is a chance that we could break it because we're pushing it too hard. I don't want to break and cause the block to crack. So those are going to be factors that we have to play budget build versus performance. This is not going to happen over a 1-year time, guys. This is going to take a few years to be able to build this car the way I want it. So
stay tuned.
So stay tuned. Make sure you guys are subscribed. We bring you guys content all the time, whether it's short form content, long form content, all kinds of different stuff. So this car, once we get all the suspension, the transmission, the motor, everything set up, the drive line to be able to withstand it, then we're ready to basically start using the car the way I'm building it for using it. There is one aspect I did not touch on yet because I don't know when or how I'm going to really do this, but there is some interior issues in this car. This car has had a minor accident in the past. There are signs that it was put back together. It does not have a salvage title, which is a good thing, but it does have a crash history that I'm able to spot the spots that were fixed or repaired. Because of that, the airbags in the seat went off and they restitched the seat back together when they replaced the airbags. So I will need to redo the seats and fix some of the spots that are notoriously bad on GTOs. one of those spots is over the rear seats where the stitching is. The stitching oftentimes deteriorates and rips. And when it rips, it comes apart and it doesn't stay put together. So what I'm looking to do is get a hold of a seat manufacturer to stitch me a set of seats that I will replace the stock ones with those. If it gets to be too much of a hassle to do the rear seats, we may do a rear seat delete on this car, which will remove some weight. But I'm really trying to keep it looking and appearing stock. But if that failed and I'm not able to do that, then it'll be redo the front seats so that they're in really good shape. And then we'll do a rear seat delete on this car, which will save a bunch of weight and could potentially give me some traction issues because we are removing weight off of the back part of the car, not the front part. So stuff to consider for the future. That is the future layout of LS Goat, guys. And did we reach our mark of likes?
Nope.
All right, guys.
Steady at 3.
All right, guys. So we're not going to be doing the rim video. That was a really good one that I had planned for you guys for additional, but we did not reach our mark. So let's go ahead and transition over into news or Q&A. If you guys got any questions, chat those in now. If we don't have any currently ready, we can go ahead and start into the news.
Let's see if I got everything. Wait.
Q&A, open Q&A. You guys can ask us any questions. We'll help you guys with your project.
I need you to go to the left.
So I got to move here for setting up for our news stuff, guys. So. Pretty happy with how the GTO turned out so far. This weekend, we wanted to get some of the back stuff done. Future projects coming up. We have Crimson Vortex coming in. I will be doing some work on that. Just kind of giving you guys an update on while we're waiting for the new stuff to start here. And then, yeah, Big Red is done. I'm going to be driving that for a little while we work on on Crimson Vortex. And then we are going to be bringing LS Goat back in for some more projects once Crimson Vortex is done. There is a lot of minor things that Crimson Vortex needs. It's been my daily for 4 years. And once I got all the problems and bugs worked out of it, I really haven't done anything but oil changes to it. So it needs some TLC. We got some leaking valve covers. It needs plugs. It needs wires. It needs cap and rotor in it. I already did the coil. That was a short video that you guys would have seen. So possibly at the end of next month, you guys might see us wrapping up Crimson Vortex.
Okay, car news. If you guys are new, we use Motor Trend and the Drive. And starting on Motor Trend, says airbag issue. Jeep recalls 419,000 Grand Cherokee SUVs.
Ooh.
See, I told you, I don't trust these.
Yeah. Okay. So when it comes to recalls, guys, anytime it's safety related, which is 90% of recalls, usually if it doesn't become a safety issue, they will not issue a recall. The reason I'm going into this is Ford is notorious for having the most recalls out of any car brand on the planet. And they all come down to a safety issue. If the car stops running, if it all of a sudden could be in an accident, they have to issue a safety recall, and that's where these come into play. Anytime airbags and seatbelts are involved, it's automatically a safety recall. You can take your vehicle in, automatically get your vehicle fixed for free. They have to fix it at the dealer cost. Just know that some dealers have been shady and will try to keep your vehicle if they can't get the parts. So if you take it in and they tell you we're going to have to order the parts, then you tell them I'm not giving you my car. because what will happen is they'll wind up sitting on it and you'll not be able to get it back. Ford did this with their Rangers, Mustangs, and their Explorers of the early 2000s. They issued a recall on the airbags. They were not able to get airbags, and they were not giving the cars back due to safety reasons. Then they had you meet with the sales rep to buy a new car. Extremely shady practice, guys. All right, next.
Not sure what they're talking about, but Nissan is fighting for survival. It just placed 2 big bets. Want me to click on it?
Yeah, click on it, read what the bets are, and then I can help people break that down.
Nissan bets on China and AI in a fight for survival. 1 year after taking over as CEO, Ivan Espinosa outlines how Nissan will return from the brink.
So Nissan was at the point of complete collapse and failure. Nissan was one of those car companies that hedged their bets in the wrong place at the wrong time. And then they wound up hurting their market share so bad that they nearly collapsed. And it kind of sounds like this new CEO is about to do the same thing. People are getting frustrated with AI in cars. They're getting frustrated with the EV market. And because of these, people are just tired of this garbage being forced on them. So what is ultimately going to happen is if they hedge their bets in the wrong place at the wrong time, what's going to happen is it is going to collapse Nissan, and then any investors that were invested into Nissan at the time of its collapse. The issue is people want a car that does what cars do. Drives you from point A to point B without being a walking, talking, we sell your information. I have some videos coming up in the future, guys, on telemetric unit that can be found in the GM vehicles and the GM lawsuit that was involved with that whole deal. We may or may not get into that article, but just know that anytime you have satellite radio or OnStar, Uconnect, Ford MyLink, any of those, what they're doing is they're selling your location, they're selling your fuel consumption, and they're selling information based on the vehicle to anyone who's going to buy it. And this has become a multi-billion-dollar operation that is a side business for all of these manufacturers. They are profiting off of your vehicle, giving them the information.
You think they're going to succeed in surviving?
It's going to come down to timing. If they get involved with it at the right time where people are not awake to the situation, which most people are not, what's going to happen is the technology will get slid in and most people won't know it. And by the time it's too late, their information has already been sold. Also, they're going to use AI and driving habits to maybe turn off features or control certain things with the vehicle. So people will buy these things and think, oh, hey, I've got this wonderful new car. Next thing you know, it notices you're speeding all the time and you can't drive over five miles an hour over the speed limit. It'll cut your speed back. These are the dangers that we're trying to warn you guys about when it comes to the AI stuff. Is anytime that AI is involved in cars, it has not turned out well. All of the automated driving features have used AI. All of them have failed the safety test and crashed through barriers or crashed over wooden cutout cardboards of people. These systems are not to be trusted. They are not safe and will never be safe because it can't put enough sensors on the car to take over what a person could do. Yes, people will not react as fast as a computer, but at the same time, we have learned to adapt to our environment and we've learned to look in certain areas. Those areas are not easily being able to be duplicated by the software and by the computer systems. Plus, the more you rely on a central nervous system for these vehicles, if that central nervous system ever goes down, you're never going to be able to go anywhere.
Them working with China makes me not trust them.
Yeah, that's another big concern. Is China is not notoriously known for doing things in a people conservative way. So they are a very highly monitored and surveillance country. So if that gives you guys any idea on the direction that that is heading, just know that that is your future if you wish to go Nissan. All right, next.
We have to put our money where our beliefs are, or it'll just get worse.
You have to put your money where people are making good, reliable cars without overloading us with technology or trying to sell us out to our own government. So stay awake, stay alert.
Go for good, people.
Yep.
Okay, next one. Honda Ridgeline headed for 18-month production pause.
So Honda Ridgeline is a unibody pickup that has had minor success, I will call it. Not even major, minor success. This minor success has reached a point where they now have an overabundance of vehicles that they haven't sold. So they're going to go into an 18-month shutdown to try to clear up inventory issues at the dealership level. They have to be careful that they don't overproduce what they're selling, because what will happen is they'll wind up flooding the market and destroying the value of their vehicles. Then the dealers will have to practically give them away. And that might be an article that'll come up here yet today, but if not, I will include this one as a bonus news item when it comes to the Chevy Corvette and what they have done and the reason that they're in that situation. But
Corvette or Camaro?
Corvette. Camaro has already been shelved. It's done. The rumor is that they're going to bring it back as a four-door. In my mind, it is not a four-door. It has always been a two-door, and you are going to destroy the name. Call it an Impala. Call it a Malibu. Call it anything but a Camaro, because it is not. Doesn't matter if you give it a V8 engine and a manual, it's not a Corvette. It's not a Camaro. It's anytime you put four doors on it, it is not a sports car. Stop using the sports car names and trying to think you can gain monetary success from that name brand. But it's GM. They're going to do what they're going to do. I'm just never going to endorse that.
Preach, brother. Okay, so now it looks like we got two that are in the more sportier section.
Okay.
Check out the quicker, better handling 2027 Lotus Emira 420 Sport.
I heard about this Lotus. I was not impressed. There's probably going to be an article on the Ferrari as well. Correct?
That's the next one.
Yes. So
how does he know? He's that good.
The Ferrari, let me touch on the Ferrari.
Right, then I will say the Ferrari one says the polarizing Ferrari Luce, I'm assuming Luce, breaks every Ferrari rule we know. Ooh, is that a good thing or a bad thing?
It's a super bad thing. This is an EV POS.
No, not an EV. You know how we feel about those.
Yep, it's an EV POS, and this thing is it's
Ferrari.
It destroys the Ferrari name. This thing is super ugly. It's meant to try to bring people to the brand. The problem is they're selling high-end exotic cars. They're not selling daily drivers. And if they're going to try to sell daily drivers, then they're going to destroy their brand name. Anytime a high-end exotic car tries to produce an average car for the average person, they fail because they can't resist the urge to go over the top with the electronics and all the bells and whistles. They can't help themselves. A daily driver is a daily driver. It's meant to be, in the most basic sense, a car, not a high-end luxury status item. And that's what these brands are. I don't care if you're talking about Bugatti, or Chiron, whatever you want to say. Normally it's Chiron because that's the main company. Bugatti is just one of their cars. Whether it be Chiron, whether it's Ferrari, whether it's Lamborghini, Porsche, these cars are status symbols. They are not daily drivers. And if you try daily driving them, you're going to go broke because most of the time you have to ship the car back to the manufacturer to get the service done. On a Bugatti, you will spend well over $20,000 for an oil change tune-up because they pull the motor, they separate the car, they tear the gearbox apart, they replace things that in normal cars you never replace because they intentionally built these cars for one purpose only: image and ultimately speed. That's it.
We'll file that under what were you thinking?
Yes.
What? What the fuck?
Yes, absolutely. All right, next.
Oh goodness. Okay, so we're gonna go back to the talking about the Lotus then.
The Lotus is going to be the spin-off of that Ferrari car. So it's going to be the Lotus's entry into that setup. And Lotus has had minor success in trying to do a daily driver version, but they still fail because they try to make the vehicle more about performance than the features that make it a good daily driver. Both of these cars are going to be expensive to fix, expensive to repair, and are just not going to be practical.
It's disappointing to me because you remember these brand names for how cool they were, and now it seems like they're just not caring as much about it. Not like these are the cars that little boys would drool over, and now it's like they're trying to almost be like Chevy. It's just a tone down.
Yeah, basically everyone's chasing image and status. That's why our cars have become more like disposable cell phones, which in my mind is the worst thing that could happen. When I was growing up, I remember days where people had 4 or 5 Chevy pickups out in a grove someplace. And when something broke, they went out there and got parts off of one of the ones that they couldn't fix. That doesn't happen anymore. Now, when something breaks that they can't fix, they throw the car away. It's become disposable. The problem is recycling these things. And the more we go EV, we can't recycle every aspect of that car battery. Some of it becomes radioactive because of the amount of charge that it carries in the battery. Not all the components are radioactive. Not all of it is the horrible, you're going to die from cancer within 10 seconds kind of radiation, but it is still radiation. It still has effects on our body.
They seem to be pushing it for everything, not just cars, but lawnmowers and everything to do more electric.
Yeah.
And I asked, is it actually helping the environment in the long run?
No, it's not. Oftentimes, the carbon footprint of making this stuff never will offset the cost or the savings that you will get over time. One good example of this is, I know I'm going to get dinged on this already, guys. Make sure you guys are hitting the like button. If you guys are not subscribed, subscribe, please. What I'm about to tell you...
Because we get dinged for telling the truth.
We're going to get dinged for this. What most people don't know is the windmills that you see everywhere. Those will never offset the carbon footprint it takes to make them, build them, and set them up, whether they survived an entire lifetime of being used or 2 lifetimes of them being used. These things have about a 10 to 15-year shelf life. Then they have to be torn down and rebuilt. The amount of oil that it takes to lubricate them and keep them working, the cranes that it takes to haul them out there and set them up, the amount of diesel fuel it takes to haul the parts out there and run the crane. You will never offset the carbon footprint of making the windmill, no matter how much electricity it produces. And it cannot run 24/7. It needs service and constant service. These are the facts. And as we look at it, strip mining our planet for the materials that we need, the cobalt, the platinum, all of these precious minerals that are go into these car batteries, we can't keep doing this. We are literally stripping the planet in order to get those minerals out of the ground to make these batteries. And the batteries only last 10 years.
So, oil run, gas run vehicles in the long run, that stuff gets replaced in the ground eventually. So that
Correct.
theoretically scientifically sounds like it's actually safer down the road.
It is. And
environmentally.
what most people don't realize is the only reason that you get pollution or any of that is when pollution systems are either overridden or they're not working like they're supposed to. If your car has working catalytic converters, you can let a car run in a small garage all day long and not hurt you. If those catalytic converters are not up to the efficiency standard, which means after that 7-year mark of the car being new, it is not safe because the catalyst inside the catalytic converter has been used up. It needs to be replaced. Now, in an old car or sports car, oftentimes you will remove the catalytic converters because you're chasing horsepower and performance. That becomes an aftermarket or a performance vehicle alone. When you see cars and they're bragging about how fast they are and all of this stuff, most of the time, those cars are stripped down to bare bones, meaning anything that robs horsepower is removed from the vehicle. That's how these lap times are created. This is how track cars are created. They remove a lot of emission stuff because they can't get the horsepower without removing the emissions. But again, that is a small fraction of the amount of cars on the road. Most of the cars on the road nowadays all have catalytic converters. Got a question?
No, statement, but Bacon Craft YT is back and he puts in the chat. That's because GM ever since 2019 and up has fallen flat on their face due to sloppy manufacturing.
Yes. And it's also happened when they took the bailout. I will definitely hold GM's feet to the fire on the bailout. So they chose to take the bailout, and it really hurt General Motors in general. And if you look at who bought the majority of the stock at the time when GM was going through that transition, you'll find a previous president. I'm going to call him Mr. O because I'm not going to say his name here.
Look into it, do your facts.
Yep, look into it. You'll get the facts pretty easy. He bought a bunch of stock in what is now called Government Motors. And because of that, that's why they were pushing the EV stuff so hard. That's why they went down that rabbit hole. They realized that they can't compete in that market. And they realized people are going away from EVs like the plague. Ford pulled all of their Ford Lightnings back because they were not selling.
But some of that, from my research, is there has been a pull back from just this administration to not mandate it. And when companies aren't mandated and they have the freedom, they can make their own choices. So just another thing to think about, no matter if you're in America, what side you're on, is any side trying to mandate something for a company, that means they're telling them what to do. And that's going to drive prices up because they're forced to go one direction.
Not only that, but it's going to force them to go in a certain direction, whether it's beneficial for their company or not.
Exactly.
And as long as they are paying the right politicians, they can make sure that it goes in their favor. The problem is we as consumers still have the power to say, you know what, we're just not going to buy this stuff. And that is exactly what happened with the EV stuff. EVs were not what they promised. They did not deliver what they said they were going to deliver. And because of that, they were forced to pull back. Stellantis really learned the hard way that EVs are not accepted here in the US. We don't want them. We don't care about them. And in fact, in many areas, because our country is so big, EVs are not practical. You can't use them unless you're in a major city and you don't drive very far. That's the only time you could justify buying an EV. And as soon as the repair costs start happening, it's just not possible.
Which means they're all going to pile up somewhere. So that doesn't help the environment either.
Correct.
So just a reminder, very important, where your money goes, it is voting. So those, sorry, but politics is in everything. That's just a fact now. So whatever you're spending your money on, you are involved in politics. And please do your research, because who you vote for, it does have an effect.
Yep. Look at the politicians and who they're taking money from. Make sure you vet the sources that are giving them money, because oftentimes politicians get elected based on who gives them money. And
it shouldn't be. We all should be doing enough of our homework that we don't be
enough people
falling
running
for, how much ads are run or whatever. I mean, in Texas, I heard the one person that won, he was outspent by 9 times by his opponent, but he still won. So you can win just by people knowing that you have morals.
and having
We
good
have to do our homework.
and good policies. But yes, you have to. We as citizens are tasked to do our homework and check in on our people that are representing us. And when they do a poor job, it is our job to vote them out. As far as anything else, we are not tasked to basically take things into our own hands. I never suggest that. I never endorse that by any means necessary. I don't like that thought or that premise. We have a process in this country. We just have to follow it. And that's what it is. And sadly, we're not teaching this process to our youth. I know this has gotten political, but like our producer said, it gets into everything. And it does get into the automotive industry, because the automotive industry has taken hit after hit after hit politically.
Well, they're regulated.
And they have become so far overregulated that we can't have basic cars. If somebody came out today and said, I'm just going to build a carbureted vehicle, I'm going to make it super reliable with the basic options, they wouldn't be able to get it through. They wouldn't be able to get it to pass the safety standard, even if they met all the regulations, because they wouldn't be allowed to sell it, because it doesn't compete with the upper brands that are shelling out millions of dollars to the politicians. It's become a money game. And that's what's frustrating.
Sorry, but yes, that's what's frustrating. And they have to let you off from your job to vote. And that includes the primaries. I've heard how many people complain they don't like their choices. And then I look at the percentage of people that showed up for the primaries, and it's like 14%.
Yeah. If you're saying it's between a douche and a turd, it's because you didn't go out in the primaries and pick somebody who wasn't a douche and a turd. So
sorry for that little, but
yeah, we
have to tell the truth, because it just doesn't seem to be coming out there. And we would rather it would be as simple as nothing is, but everything is affected by our government because it's gotten so big. So, I mean, it's just a fact now. So we do not hide from telling you the truth, is what we're trying to say.
I show you guys when things don't work. I take the time to explain things to you guys, take time to take things back apart if they don't work right, and show you guys the fix. And there's a way to fix the country, and we are on track, but it requires us really looking into our politicians and not voting for people that are out to destroy us.
And for those of you listening, we need good men to run.
Yep.
So consider that too, possibly.
Yep. And it starts at the local level, guys. Your city boards, anytime you're on city council, mayors, a lot of those are small elections that most people can get involved in and easily get elected. oftentimes people don't even run. So they get in because they're uncontested. So it's worth putting your hat in and trying, especially if you're someone who's frustrated with the course of action, especially at your local level. All right, let's continue on.
Speaking of Stellantis, that was a nice segue with what they are kind of on here frequently, aren't they?
Yeah.
Ram is the key to Stellantis pulling off its ambitious fast lane 2030 plans.
Stellantis is an EV car company.
The picture they have here is a truck because that's the Dodge Ram. So I don't know if that
Yeah,
makes a difference,
it's
but
going to
yeah.
be considered the mid-size Dodge Ram pickup or the mini Ram. This is their entry back into the small truck market. So they may use a badging called the Dakota. If they do, they're just trying to use the name to inspire people to go buy the truck. The problem is they are an EV car company, and everything you do, you have to question how much of the vehicle has EV technology in it. Whether it be this truck that you guys see now, or if it's the brand new TRX that they're coming out with, there will be the TRX in a little bit, guys. Spoiler, I took a quick sneak at the news today when I was setting things up. So, they are an EV car company. Their goal is to be EV everything. It is how they are built. I don't care if Tim Kuniskis is now president of the company. It isn't going to matter because the board and the shareholders decide on what happens. And the board and the shareholders are pushing the EV stuff still to this day. The company as a whole is a toxic sewage dump that really does need to be just severed. They should have never took the money from Stellantis. They should have remained Fiat, and they would have been one of the top of the three car brands if they would have stayed Fiat. But Fiat overspent and got themselves in hot water, so they were forced to sell. And then they saw the nice check dangling in front of them, and their shareholders said, yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and cash out.
Yeah, what I'm seeing in the details is it's a lot of look at this. This is, shiny and new looks on it, including one that's like Bumblebee, but it's a truck.
Yeah, they're calling it the Rumblebee package, which is the TRX version of the new Ram 1500.
But they're also, really proud of that they're having new electric vehicles, plug-ins, extended range hybrids. Hybrids are EVs.
Yes.
And
guys, do not be fooled by the hybrid.
Proud that they're working with China. So I just, it's almost look at the pretty stuff and take what we give you. And I mean, it's kind of like here they want us to use like corn ethanol. That would be fine if it actually helped and worked well with our motors, but
they don't.
They don't. So it's it might be more affordable now, but in the long term, it's going to wreck your engine.
Yep. So yeah, that we'll just go ahead and cover the Rumblebee thing. Guys, don't be fooled. It's a hybrid. It is absolutely 100% a hybrid. That hybrid is designed to slowly raise the temperature of the EVs and get people to buy EV. They're going to think, oh, hey, I'm getting this big horsepower, 777 horsepower truck. Don't know, some of that horsepower was probably coming from the EV motor that lives underneath the frame.
I'll choke.
And I have seen the EV setup on the truck, so I know that it has it. I don't trust a car company that is 100% EV to do anything gas engine related to bring back performance and nostalgia in a car company. I just don't. Don't trust the liability of it. I don't trust the longevity of it. I don't trust that the company isn't trying to sell me surveillance technology.
This is what we say to Ram.
Stop the cap.
Yep. You guys are not selling performance vehicles. You guys are selling hybrids in disguise.
Unfortunately, we have sad news, which most of you probably know. All-time NASCAR great and two-time Cup champion Kyle Busch passes at 41.
Very tragic news. This affected the NASCAR community quite a bit, and affects most of the racing industry as a whole because everyone knew who he was. And I will bring up another sad one that happened here recently too, is the president of 1320 has also passed away at a very young age. These guys were either my age or even younger than me. And to see their passing is a big hit to the industry. 1320 is going to still continue doing videos. They are still going to keep doing what they were doing. They're not sure who's going to take the company face now that the president is no longer there, but they are working out the details. I watched a video on them today, so they are still around, and they will be continuing to bring us drag racing content. As far as Bush goes, he was very heavy into the NASCAR industry, but he also had his fingers that reached over other racing fields as well. And his loss was a massive shock to everyone. It was
So young.
yeah, it is. It is a very, very big hit to the racing industry, losing both of them. So
Interesting one here. Honda recalling Prologue and Acura ZTX EVs over faulty backup camera. It is an EV, but also the fact that it's like it's nice to have the backup camera. I like that, but I also need to be prepared for it not working, and we still need to know how to drive without it.
mhm. People that can't back up a car without a backup camera do not belong driving a car. There, I said it.
Practice, and your children starting to drive at 15. Practice with them.
And don't buy them new cars, guys. Buy them a bumper car because it's what they're going to do with it. Do not buy them a new car. If you buy a 16-year-old a new car, you are foolish. I don't care if you have the money to buy them the new car. Don't. Because what happens is they become reliant on the technology of the new car and they can't drive anything else. And what this does is it basically puts your child in a position where they'll never truly learn how to drive. And if there ever comes a day where the technology isn't working, they're going to be in trouble. And you don't want them to be stranded or be in a bad spot. Honestly, I would get them a 20, 30-year-old car. I'd make sure it's mechanically sound, but I'd make sure it has as little technology in it as possible. So they actually learn how to drive.
There are plenty of small business owners that could fix your car. If you're not sure that they've done it right, probably you could find a video on our channel.
Or reach out to us, leave us a message, and we can look into particular areas where you live. And we can vet some of these shops.
Absolutely.
So we can do this for you guys. We can help give you guys the information.
And your page, other than YouTube, that might have some more direct contact information. What else? We on Facebook?
Yes, I'm also on Facebook. That's where a lot of my business stuff lives, is on Facebook. And I'm searchable on Google as well. We haven't gotten the Apple stuff set up, but I got to get the Google stuff figured out first. But
We just need to be certified, right?
Well, I just verified, not certified.
Verified, sorry.
Just got to get the verification on Google done so that I can actually use the page like I'm supposed to. So working on that. We're going to be getting some things done in the next couple of weeks. Hopefully next live stream, I'll have more information that we've fully launched, open to public by that point. But we're not there yet, but we're working on it.
Okay, last one I think on Motor Trend. Mercedes updates. Baby G-Class is ICE or EV. New AMG V8 coming. CLE 63 Mythos details.
So it's just a car brand trying to cover all of its bases and not tick everyone off, but they're still going to push the East. Remember what I told you guys about articles. Anytime that they list what they want first, that's their most important item. That's what they're pushing. So when they list that first item, that's their hot item. That's what they're trying to push. The stuff towards the tail end is what they're just giving people to make them happy. So understand the news that you guys read and understand how it works. Because when you do that, you'll understand what you're being force-fed and what is the truth. And that goes for any news stuff.
Yeah, we were given this gift of the internet and it's currently still free. So use the info to find.
Yeah, and learn how to read the
news.
articles. You know, the biggest thing is learn how to read what you're being told. And just know that try to verify it through multiple sources, not just one. The reason we bring you guys 2 news sources when we do the news is that we show you that we can verify the stuff that we're saying.
And we get different.
And we can get a
opinions.
different viewpoint from a different article.
For example, we already talked about the Ferrari design, and our first one up says the Honda O Series Saloon would have been a better Ferrari design than the Luce.
Yep. So there you can already see that what I said is true, that Ferrari is just, they're trying to do something that is outside of their normal realm, and it's going to hurt their brand. And it's not going to be accepted very well. It just doesn't fit the Ferrari brand at all.
Second one, this tactical luxury truck is a Ford Raptor with a smoke screen system. And I'm going to click on it and see what it's called. It is called a Rezvani. It's a custom builder that started off with a reskinned Ariel Atom, but pivoted to tactical vehicles.
Yeah, they've done like urban assault vehicles and stuff like that in the past. One of them has used a Suburban chassis or an Avalanche chassis. They did one on. So they're more of an aftermarket, high end urban assault vehicle company. Don't get me wrong, some of their designs are cool, but their vehicles are supremely heavy because most of them are
Bulletproof.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Or I should say bullet resistant. Let me say it the right way, but yes.
It's just interesting. All right. Something familiar to what we were saying. People keep damaging garbage trucks by throwing car batteries in the trash.
What happens when you throw a car battery in a trash can and the garbage truck picks it up and dumps it into the back? What happens is that battery creates an electrical fire. And it starts the garbage trucks on fire. I know this because I was in that industry. I'm not going to talk about who I was working for, but I'm aware of this. I also worked in the metal recycling industry. I had a trailer start on fire due to a car battery. I was going down the highway and the battery went up. 7 miles later, I was finding an exit ramp and dumping this in a gravel yard. So yes, car batteries, guys, don't just get the $5 credit when you take the car battery in. Most places will charge you a core charge on your battery when you buy a new one. Give them the old battery and get your $5 back. Don't hang on to these old car batteries. Anything more than 5 years on a car battery, it's junk. It doesn't last. The car batteries that are being made today are not the car batteries of the past. Batteries last 5 years. Replace them. Trust me. I just did a video not too long ago on champagne bubbles having to replace the car battery because it was over 5 years old. I thought, well, we just bought this car. I shouldn't need a car battery. I checked it. It was half of the cold cranking amps that it was supposed to be, the battery was shot.
Sad.
So, guys, recycle your batteries properly. If you don't know how to recycle them, take them in to any auto parts store. Most of them have a battery recycling procedure for this reason, but do not throw them in the garbage.
Unassuming 1996 Toyota 4Runner commands $52,800 at Mecum. Is this a sign? Misum?
Mecum.
Mecum.
Mecum. It's a auction company that auctions off used vehicles or sports
Wow.
cars or high-end vehicles.
Except this is like, it looks like a Bronco.
Yeah, it kind of basically the reason that one pulled so much money is I'm going to guess that it was a super low mile and it was an all original and everything was pretty.
Yeah, an SUV from 96. So
Yeah, but this was probably somebody's garage kept, never hardly driven.
wow. It says seeming to confirm the auction house's intuition that 1990s Forerunners might be the crest of a new wave of collector cars.
No, it's not. The only reason Toyota in general does this, guys, I had a Toyota Tacoma on the channel. I turned around
They
and
did have low miles, yeah.
that one had like 40,000 miles, super low miles. I went through the truck top to bottom. I did all the maintenance on it. It was literally turnkey go. And it will be that way for another 10 more years based on who owns the vehicle. And it was all original. Nothing was ever replaced. I had everything detailed out, put a spray and bed liner in it. I invested the money in that truck to make it a really nice truck.
Well, this seems to also be the trend that we've been seeing is more and more people are realizing that sensors going out and stuff cost more. And so you have to get an SUV from before a certain year to not have that trouble. And so that popularity is happening more and more,
Yep.
which they say in here, like most Toyota products of its day, it emphasized reliability over style. I mean,
Yep.
I like style too, but I would rather have the reliability. And yet I can't seem to find future products that seem to be consistent
Yep.
reliability. And I'd like to buy American. And they just don't seem to have that yet. I'm hoping for the future, but yeah.
So yeah, this really does get back to a few other topics that we've already talked about already in this news cycle, is that yes, people are buying these older vehicles because they can't get what they want in newer vehicles because newer vehicles are disposable and people are sick of it. So they're trying to grab on to whatever is available in the older stuff and try to drive it for the next 25 years. Because they know what's going to happen in 2030, 2035. We're going to get pushed to go in a certain direction. And the question is there enough good people that are going to stand up and go, we're just not going to do it?
I mean, it'd be one thing if the new stuff was, more reliable or better quality, but it doesn't seem to be going that way.
Yeah, it's not. The reliability is gone because now it's how cheap can we make this? How much money can we make per unit? And then let's just mass pump these things out, even though they're nothing but cheap plastic, electronic junk. You know, when a central radio unit in a car could total out the value of the vehicle, it's no longer a car. You can't rely on the engine and transmission to get you home every day from work if you're relying on the head unit radio section of the vehicle to keep your vehicle alive. That's the problem.
For some reason they have a lawn robot on here. I don't know what that has to do with vehicles, really. I guess
Probably
it
talking
moves
about
around.
AI and something with how that technology could be used for self-driving cars, which honestly, if you're using that kind of technology in a yard to do a self-driving car, hey, good luck to you. You're probably going to wind up out in the field. I'm not a fan of AI driving. I'm not a fan of the autopilot stuff. It's not safe. It never will be. And nobody is going to convince me otherwise because I've seen the implication of doing it. I've seen all the tests that they've already done. I've seen the safety stuff that they've tried to duplicate. It's failed every single time. AI can make you a good flyer for your business. It can make you car magnet signs. It can help you write an essay. It is not ever to be trusted with human life.
Well, I mean,
Period.
even for me, like trusting somebody completely, whether it's a machine, a man, whatever, that your mind is completely out of it is a problem. As much as if someone related to me was running for office, I would still have to look into them as much as anybody else because we are all human and we all make mistakes.
Yeah.
It's
And
important.
machines have error to them.
Yes.
There is a certain error rate that is considered acceptable in a machine. That error rate oftentimes means life or death for human beings.
Makes me think of war games.
Yeah.
Acceptable losses.
Yep. Yep.
That's an old movie for those of you who are younger.
Yeah,
but
that's
it's
touching
really
on an
good.
old one.
The computers are huge.
Yep.
All right. Oh, more electric vehicles. Tommy Kyra ZZ one off. Looks like a Porsche 914 from the future. Proof that looks aren't everything, people.
And EVs are not worth the time of day. Next.
Okay. Mitsubishi's getting serious about trucks in North America again. And frankly, I think this is a huge thing different between Europe and America. America has so much land, we're open space. We love our trucks. No offense to anybody in other countries, but we love our trucks.
Yep.
So to take it away is just foolish in America.
There's a reason why most of the car companies out there right now are not making cars. They're making trucks and SUVs. The problem is they're making trucks that look like SUVs that don't function as trucks, which ticks me off. It is so hard to get a 6.5 foot box on a pickup nowadays. It's not even funny. Most of them are all 5.5 with bigger passenger compartment areas. That means it's an SUV with a box, not a truck.
Let us know what you think about all these news as we're going through it. We welcome all views, all people's ideas. We're just honest with you about ours because
and
tell you
honest
the
about
truth.
the direction that things are heading to. We're not going to
Exactly.
sugarcoat things. And there is a lot coming up with the newer surveillance stuff. I did want to cover this. There was something that was passed that all auto manufacturers will have to put a surveillance system in your vehicles that they are going to have control over, not you. And it's going to record if you're drunk. It's going to record you while you drive. These systems we've already seen start early in 2020.
Champagne Bubbles is a good example.
Yes.
And it doesn't work.
Luckily, we were able to turn it off, but it would assume that I was sleeping all the time, that I needed to take a break. And it was based on how I was sitting in the seat. It assumed I was sleeping. So I turned the thing off, and in the newer ones, you're not going to be able to. So 2027 is when this all rolls out. This is why a lot of people are not going to be buying new vehicles and why it's going to get harder and harder to find good used vehicles. Because when this surveillance stuff comes out, people will not buy this. The cars are going to sit at the dealer. Mark my words now. This is what's going to happen. People are not going to buy these. They don't want vehicles that track them. They don't want vehicles that are spying on them. They don't want stuff that is a surveillance vehicle. This is literally a recording device on wheels.
And again, we're not trying to be political, but this is what happens when things are written into other bills and then they go through because the politicians don't want to look like they're not voting for something that the main bill is about.
Yep.
And so they slide in these things and things get slid in. And this is why it's very important that we have to talk to our representatives. I wish it wasn't this way. I wish we didn't have to tell you these things, but this is why these things get slid in. And most of them probably aren't trying to be malicious about it. They just are told that they have to vote the next day and they can't possibly read 400 pages in one night. But it can change if all of us, one, don't buy stuff we don't want with this, and two, we vote in people who are going to say no to this and have strong moral fiber.
Anytime you hear that somebody's added earmarks to a bill, that means that stuff was slid into the bill for them to get money for something. So anytime there's an earmark, and honestly, that's what this was, is this was slid in on another bill that they tried to pass, and people didn't want to look bad. So this passed, and now we're going to have to deal with the fallout of it. And the only way we survive it is just to stop buying new vehicles until they say, we're just fine. You guys stiffed us enough. We're going to go ahead and take this stuff out. Same thing with the EVs. People got sick of the EV pickups and just stopped buying them. Ford pulled them back. Other car companies retracted all of their EV marketing ploys because we stopped buying the garbage. The problem is they're still trying to backdoor it as a hybrid. So, but we have to stay alert, we have to stay vigilant, and have to stay up on this stuff. The more we pay attention to our surroundings, the better we can react to what's coming at us.
Yep, we just tell you the truth.
All right.
Maybe a fun one. Oh wait, no, sorry, sad one. Dodge Viper era is dead. Head of SRT says.
So the head of SRT, there was talks about potentially bringing back the Viper, redesigning it,
Viper.
and they don't want to compete on the world stage when it comes to this. This should tell you everything you need to know about the future of the company and where they're taking things. The fact that they're already telling people we're not going to do this should already tell you that they have no initiative to truly bring back horsepower, truly bring back performance. They have no want or desire to do it. They're only doing what they know they can sell. They know they can sell pickups, so they're going to bring you back a high horsepower pickup, even though most of the pickup is probably an EV disguised as a hybrid. Yep.
We want more reliability and some power.
Yep. Give us a vehicle, not a walking surveillance system. Or
Sure
rolling
what this
surveillance.
one is. It's an F1. That helps. We fought for the right to be stressed. Sitting down with Cadillac F1 CEO Dan Taurus.
A lot of the F1 stuff is just, again, you're getting into the racing industry, and racing used to be a proving ground. GM built most of their muscle cars based on NASCAR track stuff, and it used to be that way. It's not anymore. A lot of the racing stuff now is done as publicity stunts, not as proving grounds. So that's where I stand on the racing stuff when it comes to that.
This is kind of interesting. Rivian's software chief says Apple CarPlay and Android Auto are redundant in the world of AI. Champagne Bubbles has this in there, so we connect our phones. But
again,
it says they're not worried about offering CarPlay because AI is going to make future dedicated apps unnecessary.
So what it's going to do is basically make AI control your car. You're going to lose control of your car. That's the inevitable course that he's trying to tell you there. You have to read between the lines just a little bit, but you can hear it in the article that they're already planning on an AI takeover of the auto industry as a whole. The days of owning sports cars, muscle cars, and actually driving is coming to a rapid end because they're forcing us down this path.
says, in other words, where we're going, we don't need apps. This is highly appealing to automakers, of course, because it gives them more control over the customer experience, which every automaker with a marketing budget, that's all of them, it says in quotations, is finding more and more opportunities to exploit, whether via subscriptions, integrated e-commerce, or straight up ads. It can't happen right away. The necessary agentic tools aren't yet ready for prime time.
But they're trying, and that's going to be our future. And this only adds to why people are not going to buy new cars. People don't want a rolling ad. They don't want a rolling surveillance system. So
On the upside, a single app solution essentially does guarantee near universal phone compatibility, they say.
but again, we're trying to hook up we're turning our cars into disposable cell phones.
Yeah, is it more about safety driving or entertainment?
That's what it's coming down to. And honestly, when it comes down to it, you need a car that's actually safe on the road, not, oh yeah, I can connect my phone so I can call for help, but I can't open my hood and find anything underneath there.
Yeah, but true. Stellantis news, it says, I think about C8 all the time. SRT isn't chasing the Corvette.
What did I just tell you about the Viper?
What did it say?
Well, I sure hope somebody picks up that phone, because I f***ing called it!
How are we doing on chats and how are we on likes?
Got nobody's chatted in. Oh, who we got? Sorry, we got one here. Bacon Craft YT. My wife gave me her old GMC Acadia LS because she gotten a 2022 Ford Explorer. And then right after he said they still can redo the Viper.
They can, but I don't know if they're going to. That's the problem. And they've already made it clear that SRT wants nothing to do with it. And if they don't want to touch it, the project's not going to get made. And that tells you the future of the company and what they're trying to do. Is they're choosing already to not go down that road. But yeah, hopefully everything works good on the Explorer, because I do know that there are some Explorer issues. Keep up on recalls. There has been a few that have come from the Ford camp. Stay active on the recalls.
Jeep news. The Hemi V8 doesn't make sense in the Grand Cherokee. Jeep just confirmed it.
Again, they're going to shelf things that they can't sell units on, and they're going to slowly integrate everything to be hybrid to the point that when the EV push happens, they're already going to be in a good market share to just shove you in that direction. That's what Stellantis is doing.
I'm an
Plain and simple.
average person. I don't know as much about vehicles. But just even my regular research, looking at size of engine and everything, I'm seeing smaller power in SUVs, and the SUVs seem to be lower to the ground too. So it's like you're paying more for basically a car and less power. That's what it just seems to me, what's offered.
And those smaller engines are just not reliable. A good example is the 1.4 liter that is found in most GM vehicles. The 1.4 is what is now being considered a catastrophic failure for GM. The turbos are failing. What did I say? I believe I called that one.
Well, I sure hope somebody picks up that phone, because I f***ing called it!
They're having massive head gasket issues and massive timing chain issues out of what should have been a reliable 4-cylinder engine. The problem is they tried to make the displacement so small that they added a turbo to get the horsepower up, and they're stressing the engine to its max in order to make it work. What that does for reliability is completely kills any chance of reliability. It's gone.
It really seems like more and more in all areas of life for that, but we're hearing people say, well, that's just not good. And I'm not hearing a why
Yeah.
or them showing their work. They're just telling us we know better than you.
Which is why I broke down for you guys why the 1.4 was a disaster.
You were going to look into the 1.5 though.
Yeah, the 1.5, I got to see if it's got a turbo. That's one of the newer engines that you can find in the Acadias. Also the Terrain. Well, not the Acadia. The Acadia is too big. The Terrain. The Terrain is like the smaller SUV style. We know Champagne Bubbles has issues, and we know that it may not be here forever. So we are exploring options.
Yeah, I mean, you can't even get a Kia Soul anymore. So
Yeah.
not that we got it because it was great. We just could afford it.
Check something quick.
All right.
How are we on likes?
This sounds funny. Police arrest a man for trying to pass off a NASCAR race car as a street legal Chevy S10. That sounds like it's got a story from it. Let's see here. Pennsylvania State Police say the owner fraudulently installed a VIN plate from an unrelated vehicle, resulting in multiple felony and misdemeanor charges. Wow. I guess tried. That's he tried to have some fun, it sounds like. Wow, look at the picture there. Craftsman across. I mean, kind of stripped down. Almost could have pulled it off. Boys and their toys, right?
Yeah. Problem with that one is
There's a NASCAR sticker on it.
the reason with that is anytime you start playing with VIN tags and trying to jump titles and doing stuff like that is super illegal, and it can get you into huge trouble.
The Silverado body truck even runs the same 406 cubic inch V8 as it did back in its glory days. Oh, that's funny. But yes, the major issue here, it says in the Pennsylvania State Police's eye, is that Cup may have fraudulently installed a VIN plate from an unrelated vehicle. So that's why they threw the book at him, it says. I'm just saying, you don't see news like that all the time. That's kind of let's see here. Ram Charger gets V8s. Grand Wagoneer gets a Turbo 6. That's not an accident from Ram News.
It's not news because you knew that they were going to do that. Basically, what they're trying to do is build up the hype around their Rumblebees, and they're trying to get people to come back to the car brand after they basically shell companied it for EV. This was all done on purpose, guys. It was all done because they were really trying to push EV and destroy anything that was related to Dodge's history. I called it before. I don't know what else to say.
I sure hope somebody picks up that phone because I f***ing called it.
Okay, we got two from Rivian. Rivian News. Rivian wants to model a special color releases after sneaker drops. And on the downshift, NHTSA investigating Rivian for rear toe links that fall apart while driving. Sounds serious.
It is. So if you have a tow link on your vehicle and it falls apart, basically you could lose a trailer or you could wind up losing control of the vehicle. So that one, again, what did I tell you guys? Anytime there's a recall, it's always based on safety.
Yeah.
And the whole Rivian shoe thing, that's just gimmick crap. Don't fall for it. Again,
Gotta
Rivian,
sell stuff. Even
Yeah.
newspapers, even news online stuff. They gotta sell stuff.
Rivian is known as an EV car company anyway. So
The Jeep Scrambler will have a bigger bed than a Gladiator. Here's how.
basically they're trying to make the Scrambler basically be more of a pickup version for Jeep. And it's going to bomb because I don't think the Gladiator really draws much market to begin with. If people want the pickup, they're just going to go for the Ram. They're not really going to go for the Jeep. If they need the ground clearance and a box and they're not hauling much, they might go Gladiator route. But to be honest with you, most of the time they're just going to go for either one or the other.
Dodge's new Copperhead SRT might not have a V8, and it's not based on the Charger. I don't hear anything good here.
Yeah, they're basically telling you that they still have not walked away from the EV platform.
Bad.
Yeah.
Shop tries everything to kill a 7.3 liter Power Stroke diesel, but it won't stay dead.
Until you realize that the DEF system in it fails.
Oof.
Yeah. So if you remove the emissions, most diesels are nearly indestructible. What brings down a diesel is all the emission stuff that they put on them. And most of the emissions are not necessary. The reason that the trucks wound up having this happen to them in the first place, people did poor tuning on the vehicle. If you tune a diesel and it's not tuned properly, it will put out a lot of soot. The soot is not burnt fuel, so it's wasting fuel. If you tune it right, it won't do that. Simple catalytic converters would have removed any catalyst that was in the exhaust, but these DEF systems are trapping the soot. The soot is not properly tuned engines.
Copperhead Scrambler SRT Hellcat truck. The father of the Hellcats just told us what's coming.
Yeah, this is more of them launching the Rumblebee.
And that's it for the news. And we got about a little over 10 minutes left. So any questions you want to get in, any things you like, dislike, any information you want to give us, please get them in now. Our top chats today. Number one is our moderator, Aim High. Thank you very much for putting the conversation forward.
Yep, thank you.
Number two, our new person, or if we haven't seen you in a while, that I don't recognize you, sorry, but Bacon Craft YT, number two, chat.
I have seen him in here before. Is he a mod? Is he a mod?
No.
Okay, mod him up. He's been in the chat in the past. Go ahead and mod him up. Do you know how to, or do you need me to?
I'm getting it.
Okay.
Maybe explain how important mods are.
So for the mods, we definitely want active mods. We want people that are going to be here when we go live. We ask that our mods make sure that you guys go into your settings for our channel. Make sure you turn notifications to all so you get notified when we stream. I like having mods in that can handle chat. There has been times in the past where our chats have gotten a little out of control, especially in the news sections, because they get to be a little heated. So we use our mods to really kind of keep things moving smoothly and get rid of some of the bad apples. It happens from time to time. You do get people that are either not informed or choosing to push a narrative, and we're not going to tolerate bad behavior in chat.
Absolutely. Be respectful here.
Yep.
And number three, are you there? Marcus Welby, thank you for coming in the chat.
Yep.
We only had 3 people today, so the more you guys chat, the more this will be a
Yep.
fun competition.
Yep. And make sure you guys let people know about our show so that we can start growing the show and getting more of the word out there. Things will change once we start doing shows and we get out in front of more people. That will help as well. But the more we can grow this, the more we can get to some of these shows. I can tell you right now, our state offers a Back to the 50s. We're not able to film it Back to the 50s because we don't have a big enough following yet. So we need to get the following up. We need to get the subscribers and the likes and the views up. Once we get to that point, those doors will open and we'll be able to go to shows like that and be able to record live there. We can't just walk in and start recording, guys. It doesn't work that way. Some car shows, we can maybe get away with that. If it's a small town car show, they might just not stress about it. But to be honest with you, we still want to approach them and ask them for permission. And it's hard to do if we don't have the following.
Yep, we try to be respectful here.
Yeah. Thank you guys for all the support, though. You guys really do help make the channel what it is. You guys help us do more content. And we always take advice on what to do next. We do have some projects in the works. I will be talking with my producer. We may or may not do a special, guys. I'm going to talk to the producer about it. It was something that just came across my lap here a few hours before going live, and I wasn't going to distract from the show today. But I will be talking with the producer on it. So there might, if we feel that it's worth it, we may go live with this topic. So make sure you guys turn your notifications to all so that you guys get notified when we're doing stuff. And it's because YouTube changed their notification policies. If you don't have all, you might miss our future live streams. So
It's really frustrating. They change the rules frequently, so we try to tell you guys we're not trying to harp on you. I watch videos on YouTube and sometimes I forget to hit the like button and then they don't know that.
Yeah. And
we
it's
love the
not
channel.
just that too, is if you're subscribed to a channel that you watch and you get good information out of and that you really like to see, if you don't have your notifications set to all, they won't notify you of stuff that they've put out.
Yeah.
It'll slowly come across your feed, but it won't notify you that the video was released.
So you might see our videos, but you probably won't be seeing the live right away.
Right.
And so, yeah, so we're just trying to keep you informed what's going on. So thank you for all of you that exited the chat and put the like in and then came back in the chat and chatted with us. It was so much fun to chat with. Just a reminder, our next one that's at the end of the month for June, I double checked this time, is Saturday, June 27th at 1 Central.
Yep. And it'll be the summer, so we might do a something revolving around how hot it gets in the garage. Today was getting there. It's pretty muggy in here right now, and we're getting through it. We're bringing you guys good content. We're bringing you guys projects that we're doing. So if you guys got any other ideas for projects, you always can leave them in a comment, and we will read those comments and see if we can put those forward for you guys. If you have any repairs that you need, feel free to reach out. We will get back to you on what to do, even on past videos, that if somebody leaves a comment, I look at the comment and what we need to do to kind of help you get to that next step. So again, if you need advice on repair shops near you, as long as we know your area, we can do research into the shops and see which ones are pretty decent and which ones would give you good service. There has been times I've even reached out and called some of these shops in the area, just going, "Hey, I do this for a living, and I got somebody that I know near you. Are you able to do this? And if you do this, are you able to do a good job? Because if they can't, then I will not recommend them to any of my subscribers."
And maybe in the future, we can have a list that people can add in their area
Yep.
that
Yep.
they like, then help each other, make it a Bad Wrench Automotive
Community.
That would be awesome.
So we welcome our new mod.
Yeah, welcome, Bacon Craft YT. And now we have a tie for third. One Easy Money 155 just joined and said, "I'm in California."
Nice. Good to have you in here today.
We feel for you though.
Yeah,
It's gotta be
yeah,
hard out there.
That is a tough place to be in a car community out there. It really is. for all their regulation and all the things they do. I could never live in California. Let me put it that way.
We're glad you
Have tuned in.
tuned
yes.
in and chatted. That's really nice and helps the channel, because the more YouTube sees that we're engaged, the more they will spread it out, and then the more we can show others and provide you with even better content.
Yeah. I would like to do a dyno day where we take LS Goat to the dyno and we can do that live. I would really like to do that. Been talking with the dyno shop, and that's some of the stuff I talked to you guys about the build here for LS Goat is conversations I had with that dyno shop. And they know that I film for YouTube and Facebook, so they know that I'm going to be doing some filming with this car. Told them that's what the car is about. But let's go ahead and do our wrap up today. Guys, today it was on putting in our new taillights. We really wanted to get the look of this car kind of straightened out, at least on the back side of things. We do have headlights to do yet. We still have front badging to do. So we have all these projects coming up. Over the next few weeks, we're going to be putting some time in on Crimson Vortex. You guys are going to see those videos probably in a few months. We're still releasing videos on Big Red. So those are coming up. Guys, there's a lot of Big Red content coming. What you guys are seeing is the beginning of that project. So all the videos that are dropping Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays is right now currently all Big Red content until we get that finished up. But we will be having some videos after that on other projects. Looks like we got a chat.
One easy money, 155. You definitely won the third spot now. Did he ask, did you do LED taillights? You might want to have him go back to the beginning of the show.
What we could do is here
Once we're done.
I
mean, you're gonna do an overview.
Yeah,
anyway,
basically I'll wrap up the overview, but yes, if you go back to the beginning, you'll explain exactly what happened when we went to try to do the LED bulbs. But yes, this was a partial LED project. I explained where we were able to do LEDs and where we weren't and why we weren't. But the lights are in. We did with Euro style light. And the reason we went Euro style light with the black lenses is our headlights are of this same style. So it will work with the overall fit of the entire car. And the reason we went with the different badging on this, guys, the reason we went with the different badging is we wanted to match this style. So we wanted the badging style to match back here. So that's why we went with this setup. Our goal was to get the look of this car straightened out, because what we're trying to do is have a car that we can take to car shows and we don't stick out like a sore thumb. By having the fit, look, and everything nice on the car, what this does is makes it to where we actually look like we belong at the show. We can't do that if the car looks all beat up and just trashed on and nothing is taken care of. We would stick out at a decent car show if we didn't have all of our minor details in place. So part of it is we also needed the time to be able to put together the list for this car's build, how we were going to build the motor, the transmission, the driveline, all the stuff we're putting in this car. We needed that information to be able to put this thing together. And we can't do that without getting the drive time on the car.
All right. And yes, please let us know what you like about the show, what you don't like. So
Anything
we can
you got?
trim it if there's a better time that fits for most people.
Yep. So far
We take everything into account.
Yep. So far we've seen that basically most people do like the time frame of the 1 p.m. Central. It does work better for people throughout the U.S. I know for our overseas people, it could be at a weird time at night, so it might be more difficult for them. But we can't film in the middle of the night either. So
So we enjoyed the project. We talked about the news for vehicles out there
Yep.
and future ideas.
Yep. So it's good to have you guys in here today. Thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you guys hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, ring the notification bell, and set it to all so you guys get notified when we go live and when we drop new videos, which are Monday, Wednesday, Friday for the videos. Live stream is every last Saturday of the month at 1 p.m. Central. Guys, as I always say, this stuff is just nuts and bolts. See you on the next one.